Hi all, welcome to another weekly Science and Technology Current Affairs session powered by Amrita IAS Academy. I am 𝐶𝐲𝐿. Let's begin. The first news is a very important news from space science. Let's check out. What makes Skyroot Vikram 1 launch unique? Explained article from The Hindu. So Vikram 1 was launched on July 18th, 2026 and the rocket lifted off from Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. So what is very unique related to Vikram 1 is the question being asked in this article. So Vikram 1 is the India's first privately developed orbital launch vehicle. Understood? This is really important. India's first privately developed orbital small lift launch vehicle. So who developed this rocket? And the various facts related to Vikram 1 are really important for this year's mains as well as for your preliminary examination. Okay, so this rocket name is Aerospace. This is developed by a privately owned company called Skyroot. The name of the rocket is Vikram 1, but name of the company is Skyroot. The rocket name otherwise called Aerospace. The mission is called Agaman, the Sanskrit for arrival. And this significant event by the launch of Vikram 1 on July 18th made India the only third country in the world after United States and China whose private industry can reach orbit on its own launch vehicle. So you might have heard about SpaceX. So SpaceX is a private company in US, United States of America. Similarly, for the first time in India, a private company was able to launch a launch vehicle to the launch vehicle. Okay, so that is the importance of this launch. So let's look into the various facts about Vikram 1. So Vikram 1 is really important for your preliminary examination and can be asked for this year's mains also. Okay, so this is developed by Skyroot Aerospace and this is a small satellite launch vehicle. And how many stages? So whenever you are learning about a launch vehicle, you have to ask whether how many stages that launch vehicle is comprised of. So this has got 4 stages and out of these 4 stages, the 3 stages use solid fuels and the 1 stage use liquid fuel orbital adjustment module. Okay, so these are the 4 stages. And what is the payload that this vehicle can carry? This vehicle can carry around 300 kg to around 450 kilometers height, low Earth orbit. Okay, and this was launched. The first launch was from Satish Dhawan Space Center, and this vehicle can be used to launch small satellites. And for the first time, what this satellite has launched, this satellite has essentially launched some technology demonstration mission and scientific experiments, and a small letter signed by PM Modi was also sent in this first mission. Okay, so what are the other significance of this mission? This rocket is comprised of all carbon composite structure. So this makes it lightweight and durable, and also understand that this is powered by 3D printed liquid engines. So the liquid engines are printed, 3D printed, very important. So applications of 3D printing can be noted. Application of 3D printer. One of the examples can be noted as Vikram 1. Okay. Now, whenever you are learning about private space application or private space agencies in India, you have to understand about various organizations which promote private participation in space race in India. So the 3 organizations which are very important for your exams are InSpace. The first organization is InSpace, then New Space India Limited and Andrix Corporation Limited. So Andrix is an English word for or Englishized word for Antariksh in Sanskrit. Okay, so this company, this Andrix Corporation Limited, is a fully owned government company which was formulated in 1992, which was the commercial arm of ISRO. This worked as a commercial arm of ISRO where ISRO's products were marketed internationally and nationally. So internationally, the ISRO's various products like launch vehicles, satellites, the international, suppose a country want to utilize ISRO's product. For example, PSLV is a product of ISRO. PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, is a launch vehicle of ISRO. Suppose a country want to launch a satellite in PSLV, they used to approach the Andrix Corporation earlier. when it was formulated in 1992, and since till 2019, Antrix Corporation was acting as a commercial arm of ISRO, where this kind of PSLV launches can be utilized by international organizations or international or various other countries to send their missions to the orbit. Okay, so those countries could approach Antrix and they could launch their satellites using PSLV or GSLV vehicles. Okay, so in 2019, a new organization called New Space India Limited was founded or established, and this is now acting as the commercial wing of ISRO, where Antrix Corporation used to have the Antrix Corporation used to work earlier. This New Space India Limited is acting as the commercial arm right now, and later on in 2020, one more institutional setup was formulated, and that agency is called InSpace. The full form is Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. So what is the essential difference between Indian National Space Authorization, Space Promotion and Authorization, that is InSpace, and New Space India Limited? What is the difference? That is a question you should have in your mind. The answer is that while New Space India Limited, approaching New Space India Limited, you can send your mission. So suppose you are a country or you are an organization working outside India, you have to send your mission to, or suppose you are an organization in India also, you have to send your satellite mission to space. So you will approach New Space India Limited and ask, so whether we can buy your service at a cost. So ISRO will be saying that, okay, you can send your satellite at this cost using our service, that is PSLV or GSLV or whatever launch vehicles you have, ISRO have. Okay, you can use our launch vehicles. But what happens in case of New Space India and InSpace? So InSpace actually facilitates and regulate private participation in Indian space sector. That means, so what has happened in Vikram 1? Vikram 1, the launch vehicle is of a private entity. That means here the launch vehicle is not of ISRO, it is of a private entity, and that private entity was able to develop that launch vehicle with the help of ISRO's technology and facilitation. Okay, ISRO's technology. Here this private entity was able to, the Vikram 1 was launched by Skyroot, which is a private company, and this Vikram 1 used the launch facility in Satish Dhawan Space Center. So this facility provided by ISRO, and that is being facilitated by InSpace, and that is the main difference between InSpace and New Space India Limited. So this InSpace will be acting as a facilitator for more and more private participation in space sector, while InSpace India Limited will be acting as the wing which provide the commercial services of ISRO to space sector. Okay, so this is the basic difference between InSpace and New Space. Please have an understanding. Let's move on to the next topic. So related to space science, last week you have to understand that every year July 20th is celebrated as the Space Exploration Day. Space Exploration Day, International Space Exploration Day is celebrated on July 20th. Why? To commemorate the historic Apollo 11 lunar landing in 1969. So man first landed on moon on this day, July 20th. So understand that Apollo 11 was a US mission, and for the first time in 1969, July 20th, man landed on moon. So who was the first person? You might be knowing that, right? Neil Armstrong. But here you have to note one thing. Just July, whenever some question comes like this, so when was the first day when human landed on moon? In India, it was actually July 21st, but US date is July 20. So this US date is taken as the Space Exploration Day. Okay, but in India, the day was July 21st, 1969. So do not confuse that. Okay, don't be confused with that date. So that's all about this topic. Let's move on to the next topic. Next topic is related to a technology. How magnetic levitation lifts and propel high-speed maglev train. This is an article from the Hindu about magnetic levitation. The technology should be addressed here. So this Hindu article explained the science behind magnetic levitation technology, which enables train to levitate about track and travels at extremely high speed. So let's check out the technology. What is magnetic levitation? So magnetic levitation, so you have to understand magnetic levitations or maglev train is a high speed train that floats about track using magnetic forces. So this is an image of an maglev train, maglev high speed train. Okay, so can you notice one thing here? These train do not have wheels, no wheels, right? No wheels here. So instead of wheels, some structure is here. So let's check out how the train will be moving without the help of wheels. So in this article, first let's check the forces. Let's check out the basic principles. So before checking out the basic principles, you have to know some basic facts. Okay, the forces in nature. So in this article in Hindu itself, the forces in nature have been described. So there are 4 fundamental forces in nature. And what are the 4 fundamental forces? Strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force, and gravitational force. And for the purpose of magnetic levitation used as an application, you have to understand the difference in electromagnetic force and gravitational force. So gravity will be pulling the train downwards, and electromagnetic force, the magnetic force will be levitating the train and pushing the train forward. So, okay, so the interplay between electromagnetic force and gravitational force should be understood clearly. So understand that gravity is actually a very weak force compared to electromagnetic force. Gravity is actually the weakest of the 4 fundamental forces in nature. Okay, so how weak is gravity compared to electromagnetic force is the question. It's actually 10 raised to 39 times weaker than electromagnetic force. Gravity is around 10 raised to 39 times. Can you think of this number? It's really huge. Okay, actually gravity is 10 raised to 39 times weaker, not stronger, weaker than electromagnetic force. What is the significance of this? For example, so whenever you travel to a place, you might be collecting some fridge magnets and you might be sticking it to the fridge, right? And that fridge magnets are really small, and still the fridge magnets will be perfectly aligned in the fridge without falling. Gravity will not be able to pull that down, just the magnet is keeping it on the fridge, right? That small fridge magnet is able to withstand the gravitational force of this huge earth. Earth is really big, right? And this earth is pulling down this magnet and the object in that magnet to its center, but this the gravitational force is not able to pull that down. Why? Because the electromagnetic force is around 10 raised to 39 times stronger than the gravitational force. And this is the same principle being utilized in maglev train also. Maglev trains are being limited using the electromagnetic forces, where around 100 or 500 ton train will be levitated and propelled at high speeds. Okay, this is the basic principles. Now you have to know how magnetic technology, maglev train uses this technology. So the technology or the principle used in this can be termed into 2 or can be differentiated into 2. First one is magnetic repulsion or levitation, and the second one is magnetic propulsion. The first thing is that you have to levitate the train above the surface, and then the second thing is that you have to push the train towards you have to push the train forward, right? And these 2 principles are levitation and propulsion. So you have to clearly understand the difference, the minute difference here. Okay, in this image it is being clearly conveyed. Please download this slide from the description and go through this. Okay, now understand that the maglev technology can even be divided into 2 kinds. So this maglev technology, whenever you talk about magnetic levitation train, you might be thinking about trains from Japan and China. Do these trains from Japan and China use the same technology? No, these essentially uses the maglev technology, but we can find the differentiation between these 2 technologies used in Japan and China. Okay, so the magnetic train in Shanghai, China, uses a technology called electromagnetic suspension, EMS, while the Japan SZ maglev uses a technology called electrodynamic suspension. There is a slight difference between this, and the difference should be noted. This can be asked for your mains and can be asked for your prelims, so it's very important. Okay, so the difference is that The principle is same, magnetic levitation, but how is magnetic levitation attained is different here. So in EMS, electromagnetic suspension, what happens is that magnetic attraction is used. How magnetic attraction is used is a different question. The complex interplay of magnetic field is essentially utilized. It's a complex method, but you need not worry about that complexities, but understand that in electromagnetic suspension magnetic attraction is used, but electrodynamic suspension, it's magnetic repulsion that is being used for suspending this train. Both case suspension is happening. Okay, electromagnetic suspension and electrodynamic suspension. So how magnetic attraction is being utilized to suspend the train is a different question. The complex magnetic field is being utilized in such a way that is attained. You need not worry about that. Okay, so the levitation gap also is different here. A small levitation gap is there in EMS compared to the larger levitation gap of 100 millimeter, around 100 millimeter in case of EDS. Okay, then levitation at rest happens only at EMS, and this electromagnetic suspension, actually electrodynamic suspension, actually requires a minimum speed for the suspension to happen, and the magnetic used are superconducting magnets in case of electrodynamic suspension, where electromagnets are used in EMS suspension, and the stability is also different in case of both the suspension. Please note that. But the important thing that you have to note is the principle being used. In EMS, suspension is attained through electromagnetic attraction, while in EDS, electrodynamic suspension, magnetic repulsion is being utilized. Okay, so that's all about the difference between these two methods. Now the advantages and challenges are more important. Please go through the advantages and challenges. These are very simple, no technicalities are there here. So the advantage is that in case of magnetic levitation, magnetic suspension, maglev trains, the friction is obviously lesser and it attains very high speeds due to lesser friction, and the time gap between two stations can be really reduced. For example, if the train goes at 600 km/h, if you want to go from Thiruvananthapuram to for example Mangalapuram, how much time it will take? It will take around 1 hour only. Okay, so low maintenance is one of the key features of maglev train. Low maintenance in the sense the parts are not getting in contact, right? There are no wheels, no steel bridges. So in case of that, low maintenance is one of the advantages, but some other cases high maintenance are required, very specific kind of technical maintenance are required. That's different. Okay, so energy efficiency is also there, and quiet operation. It operates at, because there is no friction involved between rail and tire, obviously the sound is lesser, and comfortable ride, that is obviously there. When we travel in other trains, the trains are not usually that comforting, right, because of the friction happening, or because of the friction happening between tire and the rail. And finally, it is environmental friendly. If we are using electricity from any environmental friendly source, any sustainable methods, then that is really environmental friendly. We will not be using any other method to develop. We will not be emitting any source of greenhouse gas at all. Okay, and the challenges are high initial cost, dedicated tracks are required, high electricity demand is there, complex technology, land acquisition and electromagnetic interference concerns also are always there. Okay, so dedicated tracks. So what do you mean by dedicated tracks? Because these trains will not be able to run in normal tracks. It requires dedicated tracks for electromagnetic suspension, and those tracks cannot be integrated with, or those tracks cannot be used to run other trains, normal trains. Okay, so these are the various challenges. And learning about maglev train, you might confuse this technology with the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train project, the technology being used in that. So the be very clear, the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train project do not use maglev technology. Do not use maglev technology. It's a different technology that is being utilized there. So what is that technology? That technology is called Shinkansen technology. So Mumbai-Ahmedabad high speed rail, bullet train, which is coming, which has not been inaugurated till date. The Mumbai-Hyderabad bullet train technology bullet train has not been inaugurated. That is the ongoing project now, and that train, rail is not using the Maglev technology. It's the 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology. So what do you mean by this 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology? So 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology was introduced in Japan in 1964, way back in 1964. So now after almost 60 or 70 years, that technology is being implemented in India. So what is that technology? So what is the difference between 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology and Maglev technology? So do you know, do you see the train here and the train here? The first one on the left is the 𝐭𝐻𝐿 bullet train, and on the right is the Maglev bullet train, Maglev levitation train. Okay, so on the left you can see the track here, right? There is this normal track that is there, and this track is there means it is running on wheels. This train, the 𝐭𝐻𝐿 bullet train, is running on wheels. That means the India Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train will be running on these rails and will run on wheels only, not be using this Maglev technology. Be very clear about that. Many of you might be confused since it is bullet train. So Maglev is actually a bullet train, it's moving fast, but the bullet train that is being implemented as a part of this Mumbai Ahmedabad rail route, that is not using Maglev technology, that is using a technology called 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology, which was developed in Japan way back in 1964. Okay, so this uses electric motor which drives the wheel, while the Maglev train will be using linear synchronous motor. Very important, linear synchronous motor. So that will be used to push the train forward, linear synchronous, where the electric motors will be used to drive wheels in case of 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology. Okay, and levitation is not at all applicable in case of 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology because steel wheels running on steel rails are there, and levitation is there in the case of Maglev technology. And maximum operating speed is lesser in case of 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology, where the maximum operational commercial speed can be up to 400 or 450, and it can reach up to 600 km in case of test scenarios. And commercial maturity also should be noted. The 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology is used widely across the globe, while Maglev technology is actually limited technology used in only certain countries like China and Japan. Okay, so example of 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology we have already seen. It was developed in Japan's 𝐭𝐻𝐿, and India's Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train is also using the same technology, while Maglev technology is used in Shanghai Maglev, China, and Japan's SC Maglev. Okay, so the difference between 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology and Maglev technology should be noted, and understand that the Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train is not being run on the Maglev technology, it is run on 𝐭𝐻𝐿 technology. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic. So before going to the next topic, you have to also understand the applications of Maglev in other cases as well. Not only in cases of train Maglev is used in case of other scenarios as well. So the scenarios mentioned in the articles are in the Hindu article is given here. The Hindu article specifically mentioned these many scenarios, these many applications of Maglev technology. Okay, so the Maglev technology is used in high speed turbines and compressors, where the magnetic bearing will be suspended, magnetic bearing suspend rotating shaft in a magnetic field, minimizing mechanical contact and reducing friction. Okay, and in aircraft carriers also this technology is being used. So linear motor technology similar to the Maglev train is used to accelerate aircraft on carrier runways. So this is being mentioned in the Hindu article. And factory automation system also used Maglev technology, where linear motor system enable rapid, precise, and contactless motion in advanced industrial application. And various other industrial applications include semiconductor manufacturing, food and medicine packaging, CNC computer based manufacturing, inspection cameras, DNA sequencing, and other motion systems where precision is required. So these are the various applications which find a mention in the Hindu article which the news is taken from. So please have an understanding about the various applications of this Maglev technology. Okay, now let's move on to the next article. Next article is about India's green transition is missing long duration energy storage. So this article is about the science technology called long duration energy storage. Let's check out what do you mean by long duration energy storage. So why is this being discussed? Because the Hindu articles highlight that while India is rapidly expanding solar and wind power, the country lacks adequate long duration energy storage system. So what is the problem with it? Because this gap could become a major obstacle in achieving net zero emission by 2070 and ensuring reliable renewable energy based electricity grid. So what is the importance of long duration energy storage, and what is this long duration energy storage should be noted. So what do you mean by long duration energy storage is the first question. So long duration energy storage refers to technologies that store electricity for more than 8 hours and release it when renewable energy generation is low or electricity demand is higher. We are not talking about the technology used in our phone or technology used in this camera or technology used in this tab. We are not referring to these technology. We are not referring to the batteries which can store more than 8 hours. We are referring to those technology which are used to store huge amount of energy so that it can be supplied to a grid. Okay, we are referring to those kind of technologies. Okay, so long duration energy storage, as the name suggests, are technologies that can store electricity to, there is a time, more than 8 hours. Okay. So unlike conventional batteries designed for short-term balancing, LDEs support daily, weekly or even seasonal energy storage. That is the importance of long duration energy storage. And why is this important? We are making lot of energy, right? We are having solar, we are generating solar, we are generating wind energy, we are generating hydropower energy, we are generating energy from coal. And why is this storage of energy important? Because we are making solar energy during daytime and the peak demand happens in the evening, and when during night we are not making any solar energy at all. And during night what happens? The solar energy generated during night time should be utilized at night, and for utilizing that we have to store that energy, and in order to store that we have to store, sometimes we might have to store it more than 8 hours, and for that we have to utilize various long duration energy storage systems technologies. And if we are not able to do that, what happens? The energy generated during the daytime will be lost without any utility at all. That energy will be wasted, and in order to curtail that waste we have to utilize various technologies, long duration energy storages. And let's see what are the various. So we have only discussed about solar power here. This is similar to other renewable energy sources also. So whenever there is a peak demand we have to store energy for that time. Whenever the generation is higher and the demand is lesser, we have to store the remaining energy after utilization for a later time, and not to do that we have to have LDES. So why is LDES important? For grid stability. LDES is important. So balancing fluctuations in renewable energy generation, LDES is important. Renewable integration, I have already told that, told with an example about example of solar power generation, how it can be integrated when needed, when energy is needed. Okay, so store excess solar and wind energy for later use. And energy security is the same purpose. Peak demand management, so you can guess it. Decarbonization and disaster resilience, all these are important points where LDES can improve. Decarbonization enables higher penetration of clean energy. Okay, so here you have to understand what are the types of different LDES or different storage technologies. So first of all, here lithium ion batteries are given. This is battery energy storage system. Okay, lithium ion batteries, huge lithium ion batteries can be utilized to store energy up to 2 to 6 hours only. We are not talking about lithium ion batteries used in our mobile phone or gadgets like this iPad. Okay, these are lithium ion batteries utilized for storing large amount of energy which can be supplied to the grid. Okay, so this can be utilized for fast response, ideal for short duration storages only. And all other technologies mentioned here are used for long time energy storages. So which are the other technologies? Pump storage hydropower, flow batteries, compressed air energy storages, hydrogen energy storage, thermal energy storage. Let's check out how these kind of, what are these energy devices, what are these kind of energy storage technologies. Pumped storage hydropower. So how does that work? As the name suggests, pumped storage hydropower. It's hydropower only, it's pumped storage water that is being used. So whenever there is high, so suppose think like this, so there is a solar power plant nearby this hydropower plant. Okay, this is a dam and there is a solar power plant not nearby, it can be at a larger distance also. So there is a solar power plant that is producing energy during daytime, and this excess energy produced in the daytime can be utilized to pump water and store it in the reservoir. Can pump water to the reservoir and store it. That excess energy can be utilized to pump water to a higher height and store it there. What happens? The electrical energy generated using solar energy is utilized to pump water to a higher height, so that the potential energy of that water can be later utilized, later converted and used in the hydropower, and converted it into electricity later whenever we require more electricity, when the solar power is not available. Understood? So pumped storage hydropower is simply we are converting the electricity that is generated using solar power to we are converting that electricity to potential energy in water and storing it as pumped storage, and later on that will be that water will be utilized for generating hydropower. Okay, so here pumped storage hydropower is utilized in various projects in India. So then there is an example of, then other methods used are flow batteries, compressed air energy storages, hydrogen energy storages, thermal energy storages. All these methods works on same principle. For example, in case of hydrogen energy storage, the electricity generated from wind energy or solar energy is utilized to split water molecules into hydrogen and generate hydrogen, and that hydrogen will be stored somewhere, so that energy from that hydrogen can be utilized after some time, after days or months. Okay, suitable for seasonal storage and industrial storage. So these all are examples, except the lithium ion batteries. These are all examples of long duration energy storage systems. Okay, so that's all about the long duration energy storage systems. Let's check out the next news. Why engineering evolution is a high stakes race between cure and chaos. This is a biotechnology related article from the Hindu itself. So what do you mean by engineering evolution? Engineering evolution, a high stake race between cure and chaos. So engineering evolution refers to the deliberate use of genetic engineering and synthetic biology to influence how organism evolve by introducing, modifying or spreading specific genes within population. So we all know that organisms, as the generation progress, they will be changes will be coming on the genome. That means some kind of evolution will be happening for the organism. And if we are able to deliberately use genetic engineering and synthetic biology to influence how organism evolve, that is meant by engineered evolution. Okay, so unlike conventional genetic modification, some technologies like CRISPR-Cas9 gene drives can be designed to spread engineered traits through future generation. And let's see what are the technologies that are being used to engineer evolution. Here one specific technology is being mentioned in this article, and that specific technology is called gene drive technology, used in case to control malaria. But gene drive technology used for controlling malaria. So everybody might have heard about the technology of CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing. So CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing is a technology, is a very modern technology used to edit the genome. I am not here in this class going to explain how the CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology is going to work, because many questions related to CRISPR-Cas9 have been asked in the previous year. Okay, not only one, not only two, not only three, CRISPR-Cas9 related technology has been in the question paper from the last 4 or 5 years continuously every year. So you have to have an understanding about CRISPR-Cas9. If I am gonna discuss about CRISPR-Cas9, that itself will take about 1 hour. So I am not gonna tell you what is CRISPR-Cas9. Please go and read that. But using CRISPR-Cas9, we are able to get a phenomena called gene drive technology. So let's check out how gene drive will be achieved. So here scientists inserted desired gene and a CRISPR-Cas9 gene into an organism. For example, in this case a mosquito. Okay. So what happens? A desired gene is there, then CRISPR-Cas9 gene is also there. That is inserted in a mosquito. So this mosquito is a genetically engineered mosquito. Okay. If this genetically engineered mosquito mates with a wild mosquito. This is not a genetically engineered mosquito, this is a wild mosquito. If this genetically engineered mosquito mates with that wild mosquito, what happens? This CRISPR-Cas9. So what does this CRISPR-Cas9 do? CRISPR-Cas9 actually makes cut at the position of that gene where we desire, where we want to make that cut, that CRISPR-Cas9 will be able to cut that. That is the technology of CRISPR-Cas9. Okay, please go and check what that technology and how that technology works. So here CRISPR-Cas9 cut the normal gene inherited from the wild parent inside the embryo. The normal gene that is inherited from this wild parent, okay, the baby will be inheriting 50% from this, 50% from this. So the gene that we want to edit, that is being linked with the CRISPR-Cas9 gene. Okay, so here that gene will be get cut, here it will be cut, and on the third stage what happens, that cut DNA will not stay there as such in that organism. That cut DNA will undergo repair, and repair will happen by copying the gene that we have inserted. The copy will be taken from the other gene. So you might be confused here. The basics of biology is being utilized here. If you have not understood this, how this repair will happen, please go and read the basics, clear your basics. Okay, so here after making this cut, what happens? The repaired DNA gene will have this desired gene only. That means nearly all offspring inherit the gene drive that we have designed here. Nearly all offsprings will inherit that, because after repair, the repair will happen by copying the gene drive only, and the repair gene, the 50%, or almost the 50%, the remaining 50% will be having will be copied. Okay, that means almost 100% of the organism, all of the offsprings will inherit the gene drive, and this step is continued, and this step can be utilized for our benefit. For example, mosquitoes become unable to transmit malaria. That has been made possible. Mosquitoes were unable to transmit malaria. The wild gene which carries malarial parasite, which makes it possible to carry wild malarial parasite, that will become ineffective in the population which is mixed with the gene drive population, and that has been done. Okay, and or the population of disease carrying mosquitoes decline, or harmful trait of that gene can be eliminated also. All this can happen. So ineffective, the malarial parasite spreading population of mosquito can be reduced. So what is the outcome of gene drive technology? The malarial spreading can be reduced. Okay, so that is the outcome of this technology. Now, various other applications of gene drive technology should also be noted. It can be used to control malaria. That means in public health, it can be used to control malaria by modifying malaria spreading mosquitoes. Then in agriculture, pest management and crop protection can be done. It can be used to control pests, and it can be used to eliminate invasive alien species on island and protect the biodiversity of a area also. And in conservation also, protecting endangered species can be done through controlling invasive species. And in medicine, correcting inherited genetic disorders can be done using this technology. And in improving disease resistance in livestock can also be done using this technology. So gene drive technology is really important for your exam. Can be asked for prelims or can be asked for mains. Okay, so understand what is gene drive technology. So in order to have an understanding about gene drive technology, you should clearly have an understanding about how molecular biology, how CRISPR-Cas9 will work. So if you don't have an idea about that, please go and read about that. Okay, now let's write. So I have given a question here for mains. Please try to write this question. Directed evolution represents a major breakthrough in biotechnology, but its transformative potential is accompanied by significant ethical and biosecurity concern. discuss. So what are the ethical and biosecurity concerns associated with directed evolution? So directed evolution, one example of directed evolution is using gene drive technology. We have seen how malaria parasite can be controlled. So try writing this question. Okay, let's move on to the last topic for today. Zoopharmacognosy. Zoopharmacognosy. What do you mean by zoopharmacognosy? What do you mean by zoopharmacognosy? Zoopharmacognosy is a phenomena where wild animals instinctively use plants, minerals, insects or other natural substances to prevent or treat disease. Wild animals instinctively used, that is the major thing here. They might not be getting this instruction from any of their grandparents or parents or any of their friends. They instinctively use plants, minerals, insects or other natural substances to prevent or treat disease. We don't know how they are able to make sense of the medicinal properties of various plants or various materials. Okay, we don't know. This is still ongoing research, and various species are being found to use various techniques found in nature as to cure various diseases or treat various diseases. Okay, now what do we mean by zoopharmacognosy? Zoopharmacognosy, the principle we have already seen. This is derived from three Greek words. The term zoopharmacognosy has derived from three Greek words. Zoo means animal, pharmakon means medicine, and gnosis means knowledge. Simply, it means animals' knowledge of medicine. Animals' knowledge of medicine. That is meant by zoopharmacognosy. Okay. So the significance is that it can, studying about zoopharmacognosy can help in drug discovery, veterinary science, evolutionary biology, ethology and conservation biology. How it can help us discover new drugs? This may lead to development of new medicines. How various organisms are using various plants or chemicals to cure themselves from various diseases. That knowledge can be used for drug discovery, and that knowledge can be used to improve understanding of animal health. So that is why it's important to learn about this phenomena. Okay, now various examples found in nature, various famous examples found in nature of this principle of zoopharmacognosy should be noted. Chimpanzees chew bitter medical leaves, expel intestinal parasite. So in this picture you can find a chimpanzee here, right? This is chewing some leaf so that it expel intestinal parasites. Then orangutan apply plant sap to boots. Orangutan applying plant saps to wounds. Anti-inflammatory and wound healing properties of plants are being utilized by orangutans. Then some elephants, both African and Asian elephants, eat medicinal tree barks and herbs. Why? Digestive health and childbirth related benefits are there in some population. It's an interesting phenomena, right? Then some parrots consume clay to neutralize plant toxins. So you can see in this picture, parrots are here consuming clay to neutralize some plant toxins. Then in case of monarch butterflies, they lay eggs on medicinal milkweed so that they can protect offspring from parasite. And in terms of many caterpillars, they eat toxic plants to reduce parasite infection. Okay, so these are various examples where zoopharmacognosy can be noted, and this is the final topic for the day. So we will stop here. Hope you have a good week. Let's meet next week. Okay.
Amrita IAS Academy.